Remember Lana VR? Well, recently she reached out to me with a story that was sickening. I've mentioned them vividly in a video I previously made on Lana VR, but this seriously needs more attention. Meet a creator named Lorax VR. Recently I've been sent clear evidence about the fact that he could be one of Growth Tag's most creepiest creators, and more or less a pedophile. But either way, today I'll be going over this entire situation, as he has allegedly done evil deeds such as being racist, asking for and more. So before we get into this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick to the end to hear the entire story about the fact that this creator could genuinely be a pedophile. So despite me claiming this all against him, well, who exactly is LoraxVR, and is all of this information actually true? Well, if you stick to the end, you'll find out everything. LoraxVR is a Growth Tag content creator with a following of 5,000 followers on TikTok. He does indeed have a YouTube channel, but it has a very small following of less than 200 subscribers. He posts Growth Tag content here and there, but definitely not often. But his content is not the focus of this video. I want to specifically pinpoint his actions and quote-unquote mistakes that he has made. You see, when I was messaged privately about these DMs, it was accused that he was a predator, racist, homophobic, toxic, and just an overall weirdo. And with the overall 37 screenshots I have been provided with as evidence, we will really see Lorax's true side. First of all, let's start off with one of the topics that I mentioned at the start: racism. There has been many instances where Lorax has been proven to be racist in several screenshots, being caught out for saying the N-word as well as being racist to Chinese people. In this first screenshot, he blatantly just blurts out the N-word. Despite this being unacceptable, he even admits to being a doxer, which is a very important piece of information, so hold on to that. Moving on, we see that he even admits it, knowing full well that he does say the N-word, yet there's more where he just completely blurts it out. It even got to a point where Lana got message requests on TikTok talking about the said creator and the fact that he was saying the N-word and talking bad about her community, yet if you thought this man was racist, it somehow gets worse. This still links to racism, but we can also see here that he calls Lana Chinese. But for what? Well, she simply said that she wanted to eat this mouse. Not a problem, right? Despite this mouse looking very cute, it clearly was the problem for Lorax, as he calls her Chinese for stating this, which is completely disrespectful and there was no need whatsoever. Looking closer, we can even see him say more slurs for yet again no reason. However, despite saying slurs, it turns out Lorax VR seems to be a complete weirdo, and this is where it starts to get bad if it wasn't already. You see, there is several instances where Lorax asked Lana VR for several photos of herself, but why? Well, this may come out as crude, but he had no reason to ask, and came off as really creepy, and then when he got called out for said action, he blamed it on religion, saying it was all a test, and that apparently Lana had ruined his career because she wanted to quote-unquote make sure he was not dating someone that's gonna send him. It slowly starts to reveal who Lorax really is. Despite asking for whether for a test or not, he tried to make himself the victim in this situation when it clearly shows that he isn't the victim, but rather Lana is. Not to mention, there is also threats that were linked to Lorax, not regular threats that are more linked to hate, but threats that may link to manipulation. You see, with the overall 30 screenshots that I was sent, there is several times where Lorax simply says he wants to end his own life for many reasons. Jokes or not, this isn't a topic to joke about at all. On average, 72,000 people lose their life to suicide each year, so this topic should not be joked about whatsoever. Either way, you want the proof, and I'll show you. These several instances of him saying this just seem like a call for attention, something that he must have wanted off of Lana. Despite the fact that he may have used threats to try and manipulate Lana, I haven't lied to you. There was indeed threats against Lana that put her and possibly her family in danger. You see, Lorax has threatened to expose information or even dox Lana VR every single time she has tried to get this information out there, it being claimed that he even leaked Lana's first name. Further on this topic, he even threatened to quote-unquote press that red button, and you may wonder what this actually means until this supposed red button means that Lorax is quite literally manipulating Lana to do what he wanted, and if he didn't like it, he'd release the information he had on her. You may think I'm lying about the fact this is another act of manipulation, but it can clearly be seen here that he didn't ask, he commanded, and for the sake of Lana's family, she had no choice but to give in. He states that he had no plans to actually dox Lana, but then actually mentions this red button in another sentence, also seeming to give her a false sense of hope. It even turns out that Lorax VR was actually one of the main reasons that Lana also quit content creation. Finally, the last disturbing topic about Lorax VR that I shall mention is the fact that he is insanely sexual. You see, I surfaced 2 screenshots of this on my last video on Lana VR, but over the course of that releasing, it seemed to get much worse in the background behind the scenes. You see, there has been instances instances where Lorax has said that he wanted to get Lana pregnant, asked for pictures of herself, which I mentioned earlier, and said some other rather sexual things I'd rather not repeat out of my own mouth. But either way, looking at the selection of sexual screenshots we can see here, it seems more than likely that LoraxVR is not only weird, but he also threatens people for what it seems like, and has allegedly dated a 12-year-old. Keep in mind though, he's almost 16, and that age gap isn't typically acceptable. Not only that, I was told by another user named Crazy Horse that Lorax threatened to gang her, which is not only vile, but just completely unacceptable, and that Lana had to move house locations due to this, which is just horrible. This genuinely is such a shocking situation and shows how disgusting this creator really is. However, despite everything that I have covered, there's just one more piece of information about Lorax that I need to go over. You see, over the course of this weekend, Lorax figured out that I was making a video of him, and he told me that all of this stuff was untrue, but all of these screenshots clearly showed that this was indeed true. So I had a solution. It wasn't the best, but it was good enough in my eyes. You see, I was attending a large family outing. I was texting him to get all my points across to really get into his head that what he did was wrong. I explained why he was in the wrong, despite his pleads, and even though it may seem unfair that I'm still making this video, I asked him to do one thing for me. I told him to apologize to Lana and never associate himself with her again. Although I do feel guilty for making this video, I stuck with my decision to get across what I needed to spread out. I don't want any of you spreading hate to him, but rather know his wrongdoings. This situation should not escalate, and if it does, you'll hear more from me. But either way, but with his response out of the way, let's just wrap this video up with a conclusion. Right, so let's just get this video over and done with. So first of all, the topics of him being racist, homophobic, threatening, and I'm pretty sure being a predator is all true. The proof is there, and I have provided it. There was no reason why he did all of these things. I'm presuming that he just did it for the fun of it. But either way, just know that if you're a creator, big or small, this behavior is not acceptable whatsoever. So you'll hear this once and once only. Give yourself an actual brain check when you're online, because it's getting to a point where I'm seeing way too many incidents of predators, racist, and more in this community, and it's just disappointing.
Hey Lorax, I know you're watching this video right now, and I just wanted to tell you, stop. You don't belong on the internet. You've made this whole community turn on me, and I'm not regretting this message at all. I strongly dislike you, and I strongly dislike your actions. I really hope that you never return. Give us girls some justice and just leave. You were a nice guy and I loved you. Past tense, by the way. But I cannot forgive you for your actions. I hate you and I always will. Stop acting innocent and stop getting cam into this. This is your fault and the place you are in right now is all your wrongdoings. Your actions have consequences. I hope whatever's coming for you comes worse than whatever you did to yourself. And take that one to heart, because I mean it.
But either way, what do you think about this topic? Comment it down below. Don't forget to also join the Discord server via the Discord link in the description. Remember to also like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you get notified every time that I post content. And I'm also trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before my birthday, and it looks promising. Yet again, thank you though if you made it to the end of this video, and until next time, this is PieterPie signing off.